This is Zoudon. I thought I'd just make a quick video on how I set up loot filters for my characters. I usually wait to do a detailed filter until I get to the end of time, which I just did on this character. He happens to be a mage. The build for this character will be in the forum post. Uh, you want to probably bring that up while you watch the video so you can sort of get how I'm doing things. I usually start off with a template that I have that I've made, so that every time I make a new character and have to make a new filter, I just copy the template, and then after copying the template, I then modify it. So it saves me the initial setup on a lot of the basic things, like showing unique gear and recoloring things that you want to shatter and stuff like that. So here's my template. I'm just going to duplicate it and then edit it and just call it, this is my crit lightning blast mage. So I'll do that and I'll give it a purple icon. Okay. So going through, I hide all the normal items again because I've gotten to the end of time, so I'm past the point where I would want any normal items at this point. And then it just has entries for all the basic gear. So I'm just going to go through one by one and kind of show you how I do it. So for rings for this character, um, what is the build? This happens to be a crit build. So I'll turn on copper rings for this particular build. Ultimately, if you look at the actual build planner for this, it uses silvers just because I wanted for this build I wanted movement speed. But I'll accept gold just because as I'm leveling, especially, they're really good to fill in resistances here and there. But I'm probably never going to take coral and ivory. So I'll just unselect those. So these are the kinds of rings that if they have the mods I want, that I'll take. And then for this character, the affixes, again, what I focus on is the main, really is the prefixes that I mostly focus on, because the suffixes, like especially resistances and health and things, you can kind of get that on any gear. They're not specific to rings. So the things that are specific to the item is what I typically put into my filter. So in this case, it's going to be spell damage and intelligence based on this particular build. So I'll select intelligence and spell damage. So that's it. And again, early on, so I just hit end of time here. I'm not going to be really picky about this. So I'm just going to say, as long as it has one of those two affixes, show me the item and color it. As I get to end game and I start farming end game gear, that's when I would either do 2 of 2 to start with, because don't bother showing me a ring unless it has both of those affixes. And then eventually I'd also add on 2 of 2 and of a certain tier level. So that way, I'm only seeing upgrades or items that have better rolls than what I already have. So, but when starting out, uh, 1 of 2 and just do the prefixes of the item. That's typically how I do it. Same thing with the amulet. The amulet in this case is going to have crit multi and lightning penetration. So let me open up this. I don't need jade at all. I mean, brass as I'm leveling is not horrible, so if it has good rolls on it, I'll take it. Silver is what I want. Actually, bone is what I want in this case, but at least on the build that I have, just because I need the resistances. But I'll certainly take a silver again while leveling. And then gold again, it could fill in theoretically. It'll be a while before I get there anyway, so it doesn't really matter right now. So I'll just take those, and then we'll do the affixes, which is going to be lightning penetration. Where are you? There you are. And then crit. Should be under general. Crit multi. All right, so that's the second item in the build here. Next is going to be the belt. The belt is going to have lightning damage on it. So my template has just the plated and the bronze selected usually because I just want the armor. I don't care about number of potions. So we'll do the lightning damage first, and sometimes I will add on the other affix. Like in this case, it's just more potion ward on potion use and cleansing. But honestly, when it comes to that second affix, second prefix, I don't care too much about what it is. So I don't want to eliminate any gear if it doesn't have it, and I don't want to show gear that doesn't have lightning damage. So really, I just want to kind of see all belts with lightning damage. So that's sort of how I'm going to set the belt for right now. And then the last piece of non-armor here is the Relic. I'm going to go for crit multi and lightning damage on that. As for relics, I have some choices as I'm leveling up. Ultimately, I want the Scrying Eye, but I'll take again a resistance one as I'm leveling. I'll take adaptive damage if it has the right rolls on it. Even word per second can be somewhat useful. So I'll take those for now. I won't be too picky. And like I said, I wanted crit multi and lightning damage again. So we'll go to crit multi, and where's lightning? That's lightning penetration. There's damage. All right, so those are really over to the helm. The helm is going to be cooldown and level of lightning blast. So let's just see. Most of the helms I'll usually take just because as I'm leveling, I want helms with better and better armor. There's actually a downgrade here, so I usually will, not downgrade the level of armor. But ultimately, when I'm all done, I want gilded in this particular build for the crit chance. So that's the helm selection. And then, like I said, I want level of lightning blast. So, and then I wanted cooldown. That's usually helpful for teleport. Got to be mobile. All right, next is body armor. This is going to be adaptive spell damage, or celestial robes, I should say. I want spell crit and lightning crit multi. So, and at least that's what I ultimately want. Again, I'll do the same thing. I'll usually select most armor, just because I'd rather have the armor value go up. I may, uncheck that one just because that's an armor downgrade, and I don't want freeze rate. I think that's probably fine. And then we want increased spell crit. Should be a mage. Yep. And then we want lightning crit multi. Now, sometimes what I'll do, especially on some of those types of things, sometimes I'll add like a third or a fourth one that I don't actually want ultimately in my build. Like I might just throw on, give me anything with lightning damage. I don't know if that comes on a chest. I'm just using that as an example. But like I don't want to necessarily sit there and be without a piece of gear just because I'm looking for very specific affixes that are not all that common. When they're rarer, you want filler affixes like this one. Just so that you can at least find some gear, keep upgrading your gear as you're leveling without worrying about them being absolutely perfect. So that's the kind of thing that I'll do. I'll throw on some affixes that would be useful, certainly would increase the power of the build, but aren't the affixes I'm actually after, just so that I have gear, I keep finding gear as I level up. So that's important. Gloves is going to be intelligence and crit strike chance. I only really want certain gloves. Like in the build, I really only want engraved gauntlets as part of the build, just because I want the endurance. Endurance is a really important stat for this particular build that I'm making. I'll probably, around this level, if I find an amazing set of Solarum bracers, I might take them. But ultimately, I'm going to uncheck Solarum and only leave engraved later when I'm really trying to refine the build. So that's so for now, I'll take that. I'll even take a Crusader. Just because they happen to drop and I'm short on that resist or whatever, they might fill a good slot. So I'll leave those as is, but that's something I'll customize later on. And then, like I said, I want intelligence and crit strike chance. So intelligence and crit strike chance. All right, boots. I typically just say movement speed, I know that I have intelligence on these boots, so actually I kind of have enough banked that I don't really mind. In this case, I want Hyborian, whatever they're called. But I'll take um, I'll take the other ones as well. Or oops, hang on. I'll take Solarum. Again, it's just to fill resistances. That's all I really care about. I don't know if I really want many of the other ones. I mean, theoretically, Brigandine wouldn't be too bad, at least as leveling up, and maybe Iron as I'm leveling up. So I'll add those on there for now. I'll probably take them back off again later. Alright, next up is the wand with lightning damage and crit multi. So I'll probably just select again most of the wands. Let me get rid of the first couple. I don't need damage over time. Let's see here. I mean, health regen, probably not, but the gap is 31 to 51 here of a DPS gap, so I kind of want that just for the DPS if it drops. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, most of these, I'll just, if it happens to drop, I'll keep it. I mean, it's not a big deal. And then we want lightning damage and crit multi. So, lightning and crit multi. And this is again on the, especially on the wand, especially on your weapon. I might add on elemental damage. I might actually add on crit chance. There might be some other things that I would add on depending on the class I'm making. Again, just so that I'm not without a wand that I can equip that will improve my build, even if it's not the ultimate affixes that I want in the final build. That's I think the gist of what I do that I think makes the filtering work the best is add on some extra affixes that so that you don't sit there with getting no drops for a long enough time that you're still on weak gear as you're trying to level. Catalyst is crit multi and spell damage, so I'll add those on. Crit multi and spell damage, and same thing, right? I could do. I mean, because I'm a lightning blast build, you know, I don't know if they come with cast speed or not. I'd have to look, but again, just to demonstrate, it's not really important whether it works on a catalyst or not. The point is, that I might add in like cast speed. I might add in lightning and elemental damage. Again, just so that if a good one drops, I can upgrade my catalyst without having to worry too much about having the perfect affixes yet. And then I'd come back here later to refine them. We'll just leave them all on for right now. Doesn't really matter. And then the last one I customize is my idols. Typically, what I'll do is I'll pick the things that are the most, not the one by ones or two 1x2s or 2x1s. I'll go for the affixes that are on the larger idols. So in this case, my large arcane and my grand glass. So I need increased cast speed with lightning aegis. So I have all the idols selected. It doesn't really matter. You can select only the ones you want. So I could unselect everything and just say, what did I say? I said large and grand. So I can just say grand and large here. That's all I really care about. And then for affixes, I could do aegis. Increase cast speed with aegis. We would need shared lightning, which is a general. And then we need a lightning crit. Oh wait, increased lightning crit chance I want. Should be... Increase the lightning critical strike chance. Why is that not coming up? Critical strike. Crit multi. Oh, whoops. I didn't scroll down far enough. That's my problem. This got open somehow. Alright. So there we go. And then... Oh wait, that's this critical chance. I want that one. I mean, I'll take that one too. Why not? And then the last one was increased lightning. That's that one. Alright, so there's the idols. Now, the rest of the things that I had as part of my template that are pre-built in is, again, while leveling, it's really important that any idols, and in this case it's the small ones that I have, the two small categories, if they have any kind of resistances on them. So I have here under idols, I have health and resistances. So those are really great fillers. So I always highlight those. Green, I won't open it up, but it's a whole ton of stuff that are shatter targets. Usually it's the class specific stuff. Obviously the unique set exalted. Now this category I have here is, again, it looks for any items where it has 4 affixes and that the sum of those affixes are T16 or higher. So basically it's just looking for really potently rolled items, and it's a gambit of what that's going to color for me and what I'm going to see on it. Sometimes they're just garbage because they're just a random collection of 4 affixes that don't make any sense together. But every once in a while, that will color something really, really nice, and I'll save that, and usually I'll then use that in a build at a later date. And then hide all the class-specific stuff that's not the class, so in this case, everything but mage. Hide the equipment I don't use at all, so like shields. This build doesn't use shields and things like that, and all those other weapon types. And then I usually have a filter. I don't usually turn it on yet. When I get to the end of time, I usually turn this on a little bit later on, usually around level 35, 40. So I just start hiding anything below a certain level, just period. Other than jewelry, because jewelry doesn't have a level, so you can use it whenever, or a lot of jewelry does, especially silver rings. And then last but not least, anything that falls all the way through the filter is just going to get grayed out. Most of the stuff won't be visible at this point, especially because of the hide equipment not used and hide low level. So the only things that typically fall through and get recolored, like I said, are like off rings or off necklaces or things like that. So that's it. That's how I go through and I create my filter. And then, like I said, the most important thing is as I'm leveling, I come back here at periodic points. I mean, I usually won't touch this initial list, which is made fairly broadly, until I hit monoliths, until I'm in the end game. I'll leave this until at least then. Usually, I'll even get through most of the first half of normal monoliths without really altering this. It's usually once I'm into the normal monoliths and I'm starting to get pretty tight on the gear and it's getting well rolled with the affixes I want, based on the build planner, then I come back here. I mean, that's really it. It's once every slot that I have has gear that matches my build planner. It's just not perfect matches. Again, usually it's just the prefixes that match, and the suffixes can be a little bit more random. That's when I start coming in here and then tightening this up. I have to have 2 of 2, and then I have to. And eventually, I'll even add the suffixes into the filter. So I want the rings not only my 2 prefixes, but now I want the specific suffixes that I want, and I'll get tighter and tighter as I level. And by the time I get to empowered, these you'll see, you would see these to say, I want silver ring with 4 of 4 affixes, and then eventually, as I go through empowered, it will be silver ring with 4 of 4 affixes where the tier level is higher than 3 and the tier level is higher than 4. So that it just like I said, it just gets tighter and tighter as you go. And I think that's really the best way to work your filters, is to make them very broad while you're leveling, even outside of what's in your build planner, and just anything else that could be useful for your build. And then you eliminate those things, the things that are not part of your build planner, and then you tighten. I hope that was helpful. Take it easy.